today. But let's shift focus to NIIT Limited. That counter has reported its numbers. On the bottom line, the company has reported a loss yet again, although revenues too have seen a marginal decline of about 1.5%. But to take us through what led to that in the fourth quarter, we are now joined by the Vice Chairperson and Managing Director of NIIT Limited, Vinay K. Tadani. Sir, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. If you can take us through what led to the decline on the revenue front in the fourth quarter. You've again reported a loss on the bottom line. What happened in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, so I think first I'll correct your impressions a little bit. I think we had a very good quarter on the revenue and new order intake side, right? So I think in this quarter, our revenue has grown 16% year on year. Remember, our business is seasonal, so quarter on quarter, which you conventionally do for others, is perhaps not appropriate. So 16% year on year, in which both enterprise and consumer segments contributed quite a bit. I think the AI-first strategy that we have adopted in leading our training is visible in its impact. The second thing which I would like to say is that at a fundamentals level, which is at the operating profit level, we all know that the company is in an investment cycle, and this year the investments were a little higher than earlier. The storms also outside environment were very, very strong. But despite that, given a very bad first quarter, which happened because of the geopolitical tensions, we clawed our way back and I think are now back to growth. And year on year, revenue has also grown 9%. So I think that growth, recovery, resilience, and the growth story is perhaps not visible in the numbers the way you said. Now let's talk about the profit after tax. Profit after tax is getting affected by a number of considerations, but most important amongst them is, as you know, we have a strong cash balance, and the treasury mark-to-market this year has taken a severe hit because of the volatility in finance. So I don't think it reflects on poorer fundamentals. Actually, it's stronger fundamentals, but the extraneous headwinds that we have both in the financial markets, treasury, which is a mark-to-market loss, and the other investments that we have made. For example, we did an inorganic acquisition, which turned out to be a very, very good acquisition. It's called iamneo, which has done exceptionally well. In fact, they are much ahead of their numbers. So I think both in enterprise and consumer, the technology play is the one which is driving the growth. The BFSI part of our business this year has lacked a little, though in, I think, the fourth quarter, it did show a very strong reversal, and therefore it bounced back into growth, which contributed to our annual growth again. So we are hoping that this trend of technology remaining strong and the whole IT industry as well as everybody requires skilling and reskilling in AI, and in India or in NIIT, we believe that we have a pole position in the way AI is used in learning. I think we are taking advantage of that elsewhere as well, and in this business definitely. So we are very hopeful that all these will contribute in going forward. I gave you a long response to a short question.
Right, Mr. Thadani, how has the technology programs and the BFSI segment performed for you?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, in this quarter, technology grew 22%, whereas BFSI, which was actually growing negatively or was actually degrowing in the past quarters, has actually shown modest growth. So there is a recovery in BFSI. We only hope that that momentum gets sustained, because there are a number of economic and other trade winds that we can't decipher. We have to depend on the fact that people need to get trained. I think that reality remains. And people need to get trained to deliver productivity and effectiveness. And we are there to help people realize their full potential.
And Mr. Thadani, how has hiring across IT sector been, especially given everything that is happening around AI globally? If you can take us through the trends that are shaping within the IT sector when it comes to hiring.
Yeah. So I think we have to become hiring agnostic. And we learned that very early in the game in the beginning of the year. Of course, if hiring happens, we benefit. But we have to benefit even otherwise. The reason is 6 million IT workforce of the country requires to be reskilled, retooled. And that's a humongous opportunity. We pivoted to that a couple of years ago, and I think that has kept us in good stead. The second is the universities need to produce better graduates because if the hiring is subdued, then the better people will get the job. And I think our IMNEO acquisition to that extent is contributing to that part of the strategy. So we are still addressing the same the segments, but we are addressing them differently. Enterprise reskilling rather than depending on just new hires, and individuals, not just training them, but approaching them through their universities. So I think overall, workforce development and getting new people to join the workforce, I think will remain an important challenge for the country, and we are participating in that.
Right. Mr. Thadani, what has been the Gen AI opportunity for you, and how much of your incremental order wins are around AI? What's the demand trend looking like?
Okay. So generative AI, I think, was a buzzword about 2 years ago. Last year, we were at pilot stage. This year, people are very hungry for it, but nobody knows how to go about it. Everybody knows something, but nobody knows how to go about it. I think over the last 3 years, given our early mover advantage, we have now created a very strong thesis, not only thesis, but use cases where we have added value and demonstrated the outcomes of using generative AI in improving the effectiveness and productivity of the organization. I think all those are contributing to the strong order intake that we got. Your question was on a data point. If you were to just take a pure AI contribution to revenue, it has increased from 5% to 8%. But 5 to 8 looks at a percentage small, but I think in real terms high. And as outcomes start getting delivered, I think we will see acceleration in that.
Right, Mr. Thadani, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here in NIIT Now and sharing your thoughts on the fourth quarter and what the outlook looks like for the company going forward. Thank you for joining us today.
Please, appreciate it. Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Closing trades will come up next.